What's going on, everyone? Welcome to the Zoned MMA YouTube channel. If you're watching on TikTok, thank you so much. Today we are joined by an undefeated mixed martial artist, a bronze medalist at the Olympic Games, none other than Bekzod Abdurakhmonov. And sorry if I butchered that completely.
No, you did good.
Okay, well, I'm just going to start with the one that I believe is the most important one. You've been out of the MMA game for a while now,
Yeah.
and I'm curious, what inspired that return?
I mean, I always wanted to do it, so I think it's the right time to do it now. It's like because I don't have much going on in wrestling wise.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Uh, Sorry, so you had mentioned about wanting to take the UFC by storm at one point. So what in an ideal scenario, what is the game plan to get into the UFC?
Uh Ideal game plan is just have this fight, maybe one more fight after that, because I gotta get my feet wet a little bit because I haven't fought in a while, you know. I've been competing
Yeah,
since then, but not MMA wise.
yeah.
So I want to get local fights and then jump in the big show.
So obviously, it's no secret that you're obviously a very high level wrestler. So coming into this, what are some other skills that you've evolved since you've last fought?
I mean, I'm trying to evolve in any from all over place because like I want to be good at boxing
Mhm.
because in MMA you never know because sometimes even if you are a good wrestler, some fighters have a good defense.
Yeah.
So with if you can take him down, then you have to box and kick and
Hmm.
punch. So I'm focusing on doing a lot of jiu-jitsu,
Hmm.
kickboxing, boxing, and obviously wrestling too. So I'm doing all of them.
Yeah, because obviously, if your one trick doesn't work and that's all you got,
Yeah,
yeah, it
I
can
want to
cause a
have
lot of issues.
ED, so all the way up to Z, you know.
And so what made you actually want to get into wrestling in the first place? What was that thing that you saw that made you really want to start?
I got involved with wrestling because of my brother. He also used to wrestle, so he's like 10 years older than I am. So back home overseas, in Uzbekistan, we had a junior world championships,
Yeah.
and I was kid at the time, so he was competing, and he took like he won his first match, and then it's in my hometown, so we obviously went to and watch, and then there were a lot of Uzbek people were cheering. It was exciting. He won his second match, third match, fourth match. He made it all the way to the finals. Like each match he wins, more people were getting excited, including me. And I don't like at the time I didn't like wrestling, but me watching my brother compete at the world championships in my hometown, that fired me up.
Did you ever want to get him into mixed martial arts?
Well, he has done some mixed martial
Oh
arts,
yeah.
yes. Yeah.
Oh well, how did he do?
He did well, but he didn't compete much because someone had to work, you know.
Yeah, I guess because MMA probably a few years ago it wasn't exactly what it is today in terms of
Yeah,
opportunities. It's not the same thing. It wasn't the same thing back then. Okay, so just moving on. Next question here. So you've had a couple fights in a couple different weight classes. So I'm curious, what is your ideal weight class? Do you want to stay at 170 now? Do you want to go down to 155?
well, if I make it a big show, then I would like to drop down to 155.
How do you feel you do in that division?
55?
Yeah,
Oh,
or
I can
70,
do
or 70, whatever you prefer.
70 is good too, but like I'll be big 55 pounder, I believe so. So then I mean, it's a matter of time. Once I gain, my experience, and I don't see that many good guys at 155.
When you did you ever watch everybody like when you were younger growing up, or was it just wrestling from your brother?
Yeah, just wrestling from my brother.
So you never
Yeah.
did you ever have like one fighter that you watched and went I like that guy?
Well, I used to be a big fan of Nick Diaz, the brothers, because the way they fight and then the way their mental is strong. Because there are a lot of fighters when in the conference, they go to like conference and all this stuff, they lose mental game before the fight. They lose the fight before the fight. Like some guy talks so trashy and then he bites it and then mentally he's broke. Like with Nick brothers, Diaz brothers,
Mhm.
they were like, you can talk all you want, you're not gonna break you mentally. So that's why I like them. I used to watch them a lot.
Talk to me about your thoughts on your upcoming opponent.
Uh, I mean, you see, like for MMA, and he is like 7-5, so he had a lot of fights.
Yeah.
He's experienced, and then I'm sure he's well trained too. Like he's
Mhm.
training to win the fight, so is
Mhm.
me. So I'll be prepared for whatever he throws. Yeah, it's. I mean, I got nothing bad thing to say about him because I haven't heard anything bad he said. So I'll be prepared, and then I hope he is.
So when a fighter is training really hard and preparing, does that make you want to go even harder, go that extra mile to make sure that you're prepared for the fight?
No, you don't want to. You have to do the right things. Like you don't want to. It's not about you going so hard. It's
Mm-hmm.
about how you train and what you do and who you train with and then
Mm-hmm.
what's your schedule and what's your tactic. Like
Mm-hmm.
you can train all you want, hard as you can. If you don't have the right people around you and the right
Mm-hmm.
tactics, by the time you get to the fight, you are sucked out and you have no energy and you probably get beat up.
Can we get a prediction on the fight?
Yeah, I'm planning on finishing the first round.
First round. That's how you make a big statement.
Yeah.
Talk to me about what it's like actually to be inside of a training camp, because I think a lot of people think that there's just the training and eat well, but I think that sometimes people might overlook details. Talk to me about those little details.
Little details is like once you get closer to the fight, it's just like instead of like
Mm-hmm.
you punching each other, like my coach used to say, in training camp, you don't get to pay. Nowhere, no one's paying you to fight hard. Like
Yeah.
some training, they go 100%.
Yeah.
Camp, we'll go like we'll do smart things. Like we don't
Mm-hmm.
go. I mean, there's a time like you go a little hard,
Mm-hmm.
but it's not 100%. Like more tactic, more position, more like hold them down, like how to submit, how to get out. Like we
Yeah.
do more tactics, and then
Yeah.
we'll bounce a little bit, and then the rest of them is tactic, position works. That's how we do, and we do sport too. But even in the sparring,
Mm-hmm.
they tell you like we'll have a certain game plan for each practice. So like, you
Mm-hmm.
cannot just go in as if it's sport just bam bam bam. No,
Yeah.
we always simulate the way we want to fight during the fight. So
Mm-hmm.
that's how we do it in training camp. So it's like, yeah, it's all about like how you have who you have around you.
And what is
And yeah,
sorry,
go
go
ahead.
ahead. No, sorry, go ahead, go ahead.
Yeah, and then also you gotta eat clean, drink lots of water, and stay healthy too.
Why do you think that certain fighters think it's important to go so hard while others have the philosophy of tactics?
No, I think it's good to go hard
Yeah.
sometimes, but
Yeah,
you
just
don't.
like over the top though. I mean, like some fighters like to just get in the gym and go to
No,
war. Then there's
I don't know. I think it's wrong because what's the point of because you in this business for long term, right? You don't want to go in and then within a couple of years because you see, like some fighters fight so many times and make
yeah.
a lot of money. Some fighters always injury
Yeah.
because they go like you don't have to go hard all the time.
Hmm.
You gotta balance it. Like some people just go hard because that's how they're taught. Maybe that's how their mentality works. It's you see working doing tactical and then working like smart is much harder than just working hard. You just work hard, but like it takes patience to do certain things certain way. So maybe they don't have a patient.
We were talking about earlier about when you get in the UFC. Obviously, you're not going to be fighting for Combat FC for too long. So when you step in the UFC, have you thought about like your trajectory to the title?
Yeah, I was thinking that if I'm in the UFC I think I need at least 2 years to get to the title shot because they're not gonna give you right away.
No,
Like
no.
if you sell a lot of tickets and
Yeah,
then big crowd, yes,
yeah,
you can make it in 2 years.
yeah, for sure. Because I know that when fighters sometimes they like to use their mouth as a way to get their opportunities rather than having to fight the big top
Yeah,
guys.
I mean, if you think about it, for every show, it's all about like if for every event,
Mhm.
it's all about show for them. I mean, yeah, obviously you have to put a good fight, but
Yeah,
also you have people. Like example, like Connor, what he did
Yeah,
to the like even now he's done. Like I mean,
yeah,
I guess it's the ultimate fighting, but
yeah.
he
I
has a big face. Obviously,
yeah.
he,
Everybody knows
you know,
Connor, but yeah. Oh, did you have you seen any of Tough yet? Have you seen any of that season?
well, I did a little bit, but not all of them.
No, no. I personally don't find the show too entertaining, but that's nowadays I don't think it works as well as it used to. But the thing is, as well, is when you go into the UFC in that 155-pound division, you're going to bring a different caliber wrestling to what these guys are going to be used to. So I think that stylistically, you will give these guys a lot of issues.
Well, we'll see. Once we get, we'll find out.
Yeah, yeah, I guess so. I just want to, so if you could actually tell me about past or present any sort of dream fight, who would it be and why?
I mean, dream fight. Well, I would like. I would love to fight. I mean, Connor,
Yeah,
uh, uh, Habib. I would love to fight Habib too because
yeah,
he's one of the greatest. Like it's always cool, good
yeah.
experience to beat the goat.
Yeah, with your wrestling pedigree, I definitely think that that's definitely a more competitive fight than people would know,
Yeah.
what people would think. Yeah. Oh yeah. So just one more thing, actually, before we do wrap this up, I was just curious because we talked earlier about your tactics in the gym. So talk to me about your training partners and what they've taught you since you've started to come back into mixed martial arts.
Um. I mean, I'm still learning.
Yeah.
They teach me, like the coaches teaching me how to be patient,
Mhm.
how to get my takedowns on to right time, and set up my punches, and then yeah, they're just. I mean, they're helping me to build
Yeah.
my confidence, everything from the zero to up.
So with your time, obviously, wrestling, how do you change your style of wrestling when you come into mixed martial arts? Because I know that wrestling in the Olympics is different versus in MMA. So tell me what you kind of have to change to adapt.
Not much, to be honest,
No?
because it's this. I do the same takedowns of what I do in wrestling, and yeah, because yeah, it doesn't change. Because I mean, I add to my wrestling jiu-jitsu
Hmm.
because like you have to take him down, move his leg to the side, come around the corner, and all this stuff. Yeah, yeah, it doesn't change much. I'm just adding jiu-jitsu to wrestling because I still do like a grappling jiu-jitsu.
Well, I think that's about all the questions we have for today. I know that you're very busy. I don't want to keep you hold up. But also, I just wanted to say before we get off of here that you're actually the very first guest I've ever had. So I did want to take the time to thank you for that. Not a lot of people would go out of their way for the small content creators. So I appreciate you for coming on here. And yeah, we'll talk again soon after your fight.
Yeah, perfect. Man, take care.
Thank you. You
Appreciate it.
too.